Welcome back to the Fear Itself podcast. Anthony and Fiona, co-hosts, joining us again for
Here we are.
The most recent movie that we've watched in a long time, the absolute uncut gem, the marvel of this year.
Yeah,
the best
totally.
movie I've seen all year.
Best horror movie ever made, with the best title ever created for a movie.
It's the most accurate title for a movie. Night Swim.
Night Swim.
And it's all about swimming at night, except for that it isn't.
At all. Actually takes most time in the day.
At a pool party in broad daylight. We're going to be talking about Night Swim, and it's better than it has a right being, because a lot of the time it is pretty good. I think the setup for this film, there was some good stuff in it. We just saw it today in theaters at 4 p.m. to a crowd of 9.
There may have been 3 other people in the cinema. Yeah. That's right. Yeah,
it was not crowded.
Not a lot of people. We got the whole row to ourselves.
Yes,
basically.
But we went in with low expectations. Mm-hmm. We wanted to just watch this one because it looked fun, and I expected something that was like the movie 12 Feet Under, where somebody was just going to be trapped in a pool for about an hour and a half.
Right.
I was pleasantly surprised that they attempted some backstory, and
I will say they do get you on a hook.
They do.
Like the beginning of the movie, we do get like a little bit of a hook of what it is, like a mystery, which is nice. And like you said, the movie is not as bad as maybe people have initially thought it to be.
Yeah.
I will say the title is still the worst.
The title makes no sense at all.
But as a film, it's not the worst movie. It's watchable. It's definitely a watchable movie.
We get slapped with a cold open in the beginning, and it's just a little girl going for a swim. It's very It-esque.
Yeah. Where
there's a little boat in a pool, very wealthy person's backyard in 1992.
Something can clearly take somebody. Yeah.
And so little girl gets drowned in a pool by something.
Yes.
And
we learn more about that. Yeah.
Or do we?
We do a little bit.
Not really. Yeah.
No. We learn why she's drowned, and but we don't learn anything outside of that. Actually, we don't learn about where she's gone.
We learn about what drowns her.
No. Which is this is where this movie starts to really go down, because we don't quite know anything outside of the pool is evil.
Yes.
So.
Or is it?
The issue. Well. Okay, well, what exactly is this pool? What do we know?
Let's set up our characters here so we at least know who we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Because we have Ray, who is our baseball player.
Yeah.
So this is a family of 4.
Played by Russell Wyatt. Yeah. Or sorry, Wyatt Russell, rather. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have family of 4. We have mother, father, sister, brother. Very basic family.
Yes.
Except that he was a former
pro baseball
player, and he has multiple sclerosis, so he has a diagnosis of that, and he's had to give up his dream of being a professional baseball player, which is a cool setup.
Yep, he's really down on himself, and he feels like he could do more. Mm-hmm. It's a believable thing that he feels bad, so his family's trying to take care of him. They move from place to place, trying to find a good home for him.
And they're looking with the rudest realtor in the world. And they're looking at houses, and they find one that's accessible, but he doesn't want it because it'll feel like living in a hospital. Right. And so then they come upon this house sort of incidentally. Mm-hmm. And this house is one that we have a vicious other dog that's attacking here too.
Yeah, a new dog.
And so this house is one that actually has a pool in it. And it's not as accessible, but I don't understand why he's so enthralled with this too, because they get to this house and they're checking out the pool in the backyard, and they're like, oh, it's it's a pretty interesting house. It's a very regular house, but it's got this pool. But he reaches into the pool to grab a baseball that's in there, and it's all rotted and everything, and he falls in the pool and almost immediately drowns right away. And he's like, when they're reasoning back about why they want to stay here, he's like, but they had that pool, and it's like, don't you remember you're near drowning?
But I think that's when he gets hooked. That's the first part that he gets hooked. Right?
Oh yeah, I guess
so. Because he has this vision of himself in his pro game time side, right? So he sees himself in his heyday, being the best baseballer, and then he kind of remembers that, and then that's all part of it. So there's that's probably why he wants it, right? So it's already hooked him in, because he's starting to drown, so obviously he's got some of that evil pool water in him.
Yeah. We'll talk about evil pool water.
Evil pool water will come up again, obviously. But yeah, so that's in the middle of the day. So that's the first swim, and that's in the middle of the day.
That's the first day swim.
Yeah, it's first day swim.
And they ended up going to get him diagnosed or staged at a clinic, and they say that his multiple sclerosis is progressing, so he's got secondary progressive MS. So his disease is getting worse.
Right.
And so this is a disease that affects, I think it's when the body has an autoimmune response against the spine and the brain. So it's affecting his neurons and impacting his
motor skills.
Yeah. So he's walking with a cane a lot of the time, but he's unsteady.
Yeah.
But he's always in lament of his lost baseball career.
Yes.
And so I think that, it's a good setup. It really is. But Fiona, what do you think about the family, though?
I think it's just a very regular family. Mm-hmm. And even though in terms of his career, which should make people feel like sad for him, I feel like he didn't spend a lot of time on it. So, as a second language for English speaker, I got it actually quite late while he was playing the baseball again. And at that time, I just realized, he was, really, really good at.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. So before, I knew he was playing football, but I didn't realize, how big of the career.
Baseball.
Yeah, baseball.
Right,
yes.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was...
Yeah, because they just have, a couple clips of him playing, and,
and that whole
they
thing
kind of allude to
pool.
him having a former pro career. And,
well, I think he's also quite, not, forceful of it, but he tries to encourage his kids to also play baseball.
Boy, if this guy ever went to the moon,
right,
that's all you'd ever hear about for the rest of his life. He'd be like,
I was
that
on
guy.
the guy.
I was on the moon.
I went to space. I was on the moon.
By the way, did I ever play I play baseball.
Yeah,
I play baseball pretty well.
On the moon.
On the moon.
Yeah. No, this guy clearly he cares about baseball, and he alludes to as much later. And then his wife, I guess, is somebody who they met young, they got pregnant young, married young, and they had to tour with him, they had to travel with him because of his work. And if you're a baseball star, you get, as many sports stars, you get traded, and so you have to move from different state to state in the United States, so they have to go to different places.
Yeah.
So they never really had a home to call home.
Yeah.
Which was it's also a really nice setup actually, because they're trying to figure out who they are and their roots.
Yeah.
And then, finding this house, and then the whole thing with the pool, and he decides to set it up. I agree. The family is quite basic. Yeah. There's not much going on there. The girl is your teenage girl type of thing, right? She's in high. She meets a guy, immediately.
Oh yeah.
The guy hits on her right away, teenage boy, whatever, one of these things. But so teenage girl's normal. But the young son, he's an elementary student. He's weird. He's
the only one who actually has some development.
Yeah, he's a unique kid.
Yeah, because he's somebody that they sort of allude to, where his father almost insults him in saying that he's not quite developed yet. He hasn't hit his growth spurt yet.
Oh,
and so,
right. Yeah.
He's almost
he's too short. He's not strong enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So they he's the only one that has a lot of more development, because he does become somewhat important later on.
Yeah.
No one's that important in this movie, but he's probably the most important.
I think that's the case with the dad, right? Again, there was a lot of missed opportunity, but this one in particular, because he's not shown to be a bad father. In fact, he seems to be a very good father. But yeah, there is those little underlying messages that his son is saying to his mom. I was like, oh, Dad said I haven't done this. I haven't done this. Yeah. I'm not quite here. So you're like, oh, so is this guy encouraging to play because he's trying to get his son to be him? Yeah. Living through his son. Right? Yeah. Living through that kind of legacy.
Yeah, he's kind of got
which a lot of family does, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely trying to live vicariously a little bit.
Right.
I don't actually think the son, the actor who plays him is that underdeveloped or strong, though, because there's one scene where he jumps straight out of the pool onto the diving board and grabs a hold of it and climbs up. I'm like, actually takes a good deal of upper body strength.
Yeah, that kid is I'm gonna find out who this is. Oh, nobody's here. Oh, okay, and then yeah,
it's damn, that kid's actually pretty good at climbing stuff.
Yeah. He's got some upper body strength.
He's gonna be a rock climber.
Right. Yeah, they're clearly baseball is wasted on this kid. It should be rock climbing.
Yes. Yeah. He's good at those isometric sports.
Sure.
So great grip strength. But we get a lot of different things going on for sort of setting up what this pool is. And the greatest setup is that they're trying to fill in the pool and they're having issues with it. And they're trying to unclog it, clean it up because it's a dirty mess. It hasn't been used in 15 years or whatever.
Right, yep.
And the design of this pool I actually think is kind of cool because it's like a really shallow. There's a short shallow end, and it drops off into this really deep bowl.
Yep.
And so like the visual of it when it's empty is actually pretty cool, and they actually use that a lot to kind of show like when people are wandering into the deep end, it's sort of like going into the danger territory.
Exactly.
So like I guess the physicality of that's interesting, and they have a lot of really good underwater shots here too.
Yes.
The director has cited many famous Oscar-winning movies,
like
as
water and
influence,
ghost stories,
like Jaws as his influence, and his underwater shots are great. I will say that much. His underwater shots are cool.
Yeah.
And so
not very
kills it with
believable,
those.
but they are cool.
Yes. Yeah, there's some angles there that you're like, okay, this is...
Yeah.
This
People
is
can
not
hold their
cool
breath for a
anymore.
long time.
Yeah,
but it is,
like 20 minutes.
Yeah. It is pretty good.
But like the whole idea is that this pool is... They have a well that's into some aquifer down below that's got a whole bunch of natural springs that have been there for a long, long time. And
according to the pool inspection guy,
the greatest
Inspector.
pool expert of all time.
My God, what a character! Oh, like
this guy,
the overacting.
This guy would wear shorts to a wedding.
Oh, no kidding. And
This
what was
guy-
his coworker's name was Giggles or something. Like it was so
man.
silly. But yeah, they're working on this pool. They also the father had cut himself.
Yes.
Hence how they figured this out. So we want to clarify this. He cut himself in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
They wrapped a bandage around it, and of course it was quite a deep cut.
Yeah.
So he can't do it. This is why they call these inspectors, and the inspector is the guy who informs them, oh, this pool is like above all these like wells and this spring water that apparently has healing powers.
Yeah.
Like drop that on everybody. Like, yeah, no problem. Like, oh, the dialogue is so clunky.
Yeah. This guy is who I would imagine Dwight Schrute would be if he was a pool guy.
From the office.
Yes. He takes it
Kinda
seriously.
does that, yeah.
And like just
little
his
too much.
stance, he has this deep lunge. Like where he's like he does the thinking man on the diving
Yeah.
board, and it's spectacular.
Yes. And then he almost breaks the diving board, and it takes him out of his conscience. But he's like, oh yeah, right, yeah, sorry.
Right.
And then he calls off Giggles, and they leave. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they found out. Yeah, you're right. There was all these old wells and spring water running underneath, and apparently it's like, geez, like it's perfect. It makes the water super clean.
Mm-hmm.
It self heats the pool.
Yeah, it's geothermal.
Heating, and it
It's
has
really
like
good,
and healing
actually,
properties,
yeah.
like all these like the perfect things. Like, oh,
This pool's
good for
magic.
Really
us.
nice
yeah,
pool,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like, well,
Really
lucky
sold
us, I
us.
guess. Yeah. So
These chumps who weren't using the pool before, what were they doing?
what were they thinking? Yeah. So no one thinks anything of it. And yeah, and the family's like, oh, great, now we have a pool. And so everybody starts swimming, they do the things. But of course, this is a haunted pool. So first person to
It's a
suffer
spooky
this
pool.
spooky pool. This is the first person who suffers is the wife, I think.
Yeah, because she
And-
decides to go swimming alone at night.
Yes.
She night swims.
She night swims. That's the second night swim, not including the
Okay,
the
we
beginning
got-
one.
we got
That's
one
two
day
night
swim
swims,
and
one
2
day
nights.
swim.
So far,
So far.
it's allowed to be called night swim.
Swim because she does it right. So they set it up. So she's doing her laps, and then she sees what she thinks is her husband, right?
Mhm.
Like this is the person, and then
Yeah.
she stops, and turns out no one's there. And this is also alluded to with the little girl at the beginning, right? She
Yeah.
thought she heard her mom or saw her mom. Turns out nothing's there. It's
She gets out of that pool real quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
She gets
the
to
light
the-
starts to blink. There's
Yeah.
like a weird thing
Yeah.
going on. She's like, okay, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And then at night, she even does this thing. She checks on her kids. Did you notice this?
Yeah.
She goes and she checks on the kids to make sure they're okay. Like there's something
Yeah.
wrong. Like there's this intuition.
Yeah.
And then
'Cause-
she goes upstairs and she's like, oh, husband's sleeping. And she's like, oh, were you downstairs? And he's like, no, I fell asleep here. And she's like, oh, weird. And then she looks at the window. She's staring at the pool. She's like, something's off.
Yeah, I think her whole function, that character's whole function there was just to use her like the mother love to help everyone and figure out everything.
Yeah, like she's the smart one.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's the smart one. She's the one that figures out everything, right?
Yeah, she's a classic mom, really.
Yeah.
Because she's just like,
I don't
nothing
like
matters
this.
but this family.
Right,
This
yeah.
family is everything.
We will keep this family together. We will make you healthy again.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, but all I want is my baseball career.
Yeah, this guy doesn't care about his family. He
Yeah.
wants
He
baseball.
wants it, which is like the passionate thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like this is the typical. This is like actually the driving conundrum that
Yes.
this character, which
Where
is
it's
why
like-
he's kind of taken in, right?
Yeah, because he doesn't want.
Yeah.
He's not satisfied with giving up his baseball career that was cut short.
Exactly.
And so like
So unfair.
So it's like his deepest wish isn't necessarily to be with his family. He loves his family.
Yeah.
But not as much as baseball.
he wants to still have those glory days.
This guy wants to be crushing balls in the yard.
He
so
wants
hard.
to be. He wants to be Babe Ruth, essentially,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
He wants to be that character. He wants to be that athlete.
Yeah, he wants to be like, remembered for his athletic prowess.
Exactly.
But yeah, soon we find out that there might be a little bit of healing going on with this pool with this guy.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning, he sticks his hand like shoulder deep into the drain, unclogging this thing, and cuts himself.
Cuts his hand, right?
Yeah.
Bandages it up, and then
we also get all like the gross water that comes up out of there. It's all the black.
Oh,
the nice sewer
sewage
back
looking
up.
up. Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I wouldn't put my hand in there.
Yeah.
And so his hand got cut, but he notices that it healed really quick.
Yes.
And so he looks down, he sees that his hand isn't bleeding anymore.
Yep.
And that miraculously it's been healed.
Yes.
And I think he's also feeling better too.
He's definitely feeling better because they even have like the scenes where they go in for checkups, right?
Yeah.
So the doctor says like, oh, you probably won't get better from this when he's diagnosed with stage 2.
Mm-hmm.
But then they start doing this and doing some other tests, and she notices that he's dramatically getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is like, wow, this is incredible. Never seen this happen before.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, whatever you're doing, if you're doing your diet and you're doing like because I think she recommended like hydrotherapy, which is like swimming.
Yeah, that was one of the selling points of getting the pool.
Getting the pool there, and that's why he's like, oh, well, this is a good idea. And then he's like, oh, I've been doing that twice a day, so it's working out. And so can't stop, right?
Yeah, you can't keep this man out of the pool.
At this point, he's now had an addiction to swimming.
Yeah, yeah. This guy's like every second you get, he's just like he's in the pool.
He's in the pool.
It's like,
mostly during the day.
Mostly during the day,
but he's in the pool.
Yeah.
And actually, this is where we see the second day swim because here he is like doing this. And then is this when they also recommend like, oh hey family, let's do a pool party?
Because they want they want to get the whole community involved.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the biggest day swimming pool party of all time. And like
invite all of our friends and your friends and their neighborhood.
Now I can't remember if it's before or after this, but the son has his experience in the pool.
Yes. So
is it the son or the daughter that gets it's the son that gets
son's first.
So the son is in the pool and he gets his sequence because
this is the daytime.
Yeah, this is the daytime.
Yeah.
And like this is they're playing this game a lot throughout the thing, and this is such a like 2000s thing to do in the pool, where they're chucking coins into the pool and and it is a cool mechanism. I'm like I've done this. I've picked up coins out of a pool.
Yep.
So like they're chucking coins in the pool and like having fun with it. And they just get home from something, and he wants to go in the pool, and so he wants to go chuck coins in the pool and pick them out. So he goes to
his dad. Yeah, goes to his mom. Mom says go with dad, and then dad says I'll be there.
Dad is bench pressing though in the
the
garage.
He's
doing 275. He's crushing out some weight because he's got 2 plates on the sides and
he's doing 25. A lot of, he's doing a lot of weights.
He's throwing some weights around. And then
he's definitely feeling better.
Yeah, and it's like very much contrasted. This is a good show don't tell thing because his son is like in his swimsuit and he's very thin and like just obviously like teenage boy kind of look.
Yeah.
And so like he's just not he's obviously not developed and not developed.
Yeah.
So like but it's in stark contrast to his dad, who isn't actually that muscular either.
Yeah.
But
he's just showing to be quite strong.
He's really like abnormally strong. Yeah. So he gives him this coin and puts a smiley face on it, and he says, "Go throw this in. I'll be in there in a second to play with
you, right? Yeah, throw it in there for you. And everything.
And so you notice that the coin gets thrown into the pool, and the son goes to retrieve it.
Yes.
And this is actually a cool mechanism because what I do like about the evil pool is that it's like it baits you.
Yeah. It says things, it does things. Mm-hmm. So here we are, the kid, he's got like he's swimming with a toy, and he has the coin that his dad had drew on him to like get there. It looked like an Aquaman toy, actually, like one of the old Aquaman. I thought it was, but I can't confirm. And
expounding upon our pool lore.
Yeah, and he's swimming around under the water, right? So you got some nice shots of that. They are pretty cool shots. And then a coin falls, right? And you got a coin that falls through, and it just lands. And he's like, "Oh, Dad must be here." And he can see up, and there is a silhouette of somebody standing up there. And this has been alluded to again because the mother did this, and the girl from the beginning all had some silhouette of somebody being up there. And there's a coin falls in the water. He goes up. He's like, "Oh, Dad's not here. That's weird." And then he goes back underwater to collect it. But then another coin. And then another coin, and it starts to kind of trail down into the deep end,
the deeper one,
which he was told by his dad and his mom. And I think it was just his dad. Don't go into the deep end.
Yeah.
Because he's young, right? They don't want to have an accident, so they don't want without supervision, right? So they go into there, and then that's when he has his little
moment.
situation. And with the alluded to thing you mentioned about him being able to pull himself up into the onto the diving board.
Yeah, because he thinks like he's getting these sounds and
thinks
like
it's his sister, thinks it's his dad. Yeah.
And I can't remember if the cat disappears before this. I think it's after this.
It was just before this.
Yeah.
Okay,
because they found the collar in the pool.
Yeah. What was the cat's name?
Cider.
Yes,
Cider.
Yeah, Cider goes missing,
Cider
and they just find the collar in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cat
Never
does not survive this movie.
Never see the cat again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were wondering what was the ratio of cat sacrifices to human sacrifices,
Yeah.
because this pool requires a human sacrifice.
Yeah, if the cat indeed did get killed by the pool, which it probably did.
Yeah, I'm just like, how many stray cats does it cost to like make this pool go into dormancy?
Right.
Unclear.
Maybe the cats don't have wishes, so it doesn't count.
Oh yeah.
So who knows? Who knows? Point is, cat never comes back.
Cats only just wish for you to go fuck yourself. So their wishes come true.
Yeah.
But I think that
maybe this is the cat's doing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a whole other movie. So really, it wasn't his wish; it was the cat's wish.
Oh no.
Oh wow.
Well,
this is a weird turn.
We have another very it moment here too.
Yes.
So
he starts hearing things, right?
Yeah, he hears the girl from the beginning's name is Rebecca.
Yeah.
And so he hears her voice coming through like the drainage vent. This is almost like a 1-for-1 like Georgie from
looking
It,
for the boat. Yep.
because like it's a plastic boat that the pool has used to bait other people, Rebecca.
Yeah.
In the beginning, and there's this boat that's caught in the drainage thing, and he hears her, and he can see something on the other side too.
Yes.
And so he
I think
reaches
it's
in to get,
and it's his toy. I think. Right?
Yeah.
His toy went into the drain.
Yeah. So
he's
reaches
going to
in,
reach in to get his toy back. Yeah.
It's way too it.
Yeah.
And so something grabs a hold of him, and it's like really got this gross hair, and it almost looks like the hair's grabbing onto his arm and stuff.
Like
And I think that
thing,
in these rare moments where they're showing some sort of monster or some sort of kind of entity, it is kind of cool. But I don't think these are the underlying entity that is the pool. It's like the pool's
just screwing with his mind, maybe.
I don't know. It's like because like the monster's inconsistent. There's not like a specific monster.
Yeah.
There's like a big thick monster at some points, and then there's this one that's almost like an old woman, and it's kind of got long hair and it's decaying. So I'm like, I'm not quite sure. This is why we're not sure what's in the pool. Were these people who were sacrificed that have just gotten like
they've just been used as the vessels as the monster entity? I think that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
Because like you said, there is no solid monster in this movie.
No.
It is an entity. It is the pool.
Yeah, I think it's just the water actually.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Something to do with the water and the wellness of the water or something, and the spring type. It's very strange.
Yes.
But it doesn't really have a set body that you can say is like a monster in the pool. Because the pool itself actually turns out to also be like a interdimensional type of thing. Like it looks like a normal pool, and then if you're sucked into it, as the girl will realize as well. So when she has her situation, the daughter, then you will have this like weird, like super, 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 super deep water environment that looks like it's just everything's being sucked into it, but you can still get back to the top. Right?
Yeah, I really like this part of the movie where they show the depth of the pool, where it like kind of extends
into that alternate dimension thing.
Yeah, because she's playing Marco Polo with her boyfriend, who she
Right.
met on day one.
Day one guy, yeah.
And invites him over
Oh
secretly.
wait, I'm sorry. Can we just pull this other thing up here? So randomly, so she shows up because they just moved into this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Brand new day at school, and this random guy shows up. You know, the handsome teenager boy or whatever shows up, athletic, all this stuff. He's doing a swim team. He's also a Christian.
Oh yeah.
For whatever reason, they throw in like the Christian thing on there as well. He's like, join our Christian swim team, like whatever it is. And then like
we're gonna walk on water.
Yeah, like 2
Baby.
weeks. 2 weeks into them being there,
Yeah.
she invites this guy to a swimming thing at night, and they have no issue. And he has no issue coming over or anything like that. It's clearly just. It's super easy to get that guy's attention, I guess. But yeah, so
well, when you're the Christian swim captain tall guy.
I guess
you
so.
could do anything.
Anything you want.
Anything you want, including play Marco Polo badly.
Oh God, he's the
They're
worst.
so like their game of
Oh.
Marco Polo is so atrocious.
So bad.
They don't play by the rules at all. I don't think whoever wrote the script knew what Marco Polo was.
They'd be like, what's a water game where people can play with like 2 people? Which you shouldn't play Marco Polo with 2 people either.
No, it doesn't
It's
make any
super
sense.
boring. Yeah. And yeah, if you get out of the pool and walk around silently and somebody says, fish out of water, then that person's automatically the new Marco
You're it.
person. Yeah, you're
that guy.
But of course, like she's an idiot and she just keeps on saying Marco, and then you just hear this Polo.
Yeah.
Right. Which is
Yeah.
clearly from the entity. Again, using like a disembodied voice that we don't actually recognize, but then there is also like a little silhouette of something.
Also, this pool can distort time.
Yes. Right. That's right.
Oh, right.
Because
Like I said, interdimensional pool.
Yeah.
That's what it should have been called.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There you
Better
go.
name than night swim.
Interdimensional pool.
Oh, to be fair, our third night swim.
That is true. We're now back on. Because the
3.
pool party already. No, it has not happened
It has
yet.
not happened
So
yet.
that's true.
We'll
Yeah,
get there.
we're up to 3 now. Yeah.
We're on 3
So
night
boy
swims.
was day, girl
Yes.
was night. So there we go. We're back to night.
Back to
pool.
night swimming.
Yeah, night swimming.
And so like she gets into the pool, and I think this
Yeah.
was one of the actual coolest sequences.
Sure.
Where she gets pulled like super deep into the water, and when she looks back up, it's like she's a good 100 feet under the surface.
Yeah, like
And
you can
has
see
to
it. You can
fight
see the
to get
outline
back
of
up.
where the pool is. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
right.
I like that visual. It's a good shot.
Yeah.
And when she gets back up and breaks through the surface,
Yes.
then he says that she's only been underwater for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So
And she's freaking out, and she gets out of the pool right away, and then she doesn't quite believe what she's seen, but she's like, "Oh my God, there's something under there." And then he says something about like, "Oh, did you just get caught in the drainage thing?"
yeah.
Which does happen with people's feet at the bottom of pools.
Oh yeah, that's like
So,
everybody's fear.
Yeah, they
So-
get sucked into that.
Yeah.
So that could have been a thing.
Do
So
you
she
know,
kind of
are
runs it on
pools
that.
common in China too for like people to have pools and stuff?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
always
The
like
sphere
a
is not a
public
thing there.
swimming pool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Did you
with
do like
tons of
public
people.
swimming classes growing up and stuff too?
No.
Really?
Yeah, like swimming is not a big thing in China.
Yeah.
Basically, like very few schools will have public swimming lessons.
Oh.
Yeah. Most-
Swimming is not a
Most
popular thing
people
there.
in China they don't swim.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can't
So they
swim.
can't swim. Yeah.
It's such like a big thing. Like yeah,
Here it's much more popular for sure.
yeah. I guess in like Canada too. There's lots of room for pools, but then like you have to have heated pools.
Well, exactly. So the United States, especially where they were in
Yeah.
this movie, right? I guess it's not super cold.
yeah,
where
we
they
weren't
are.
clear on what state they were in.
Yeah,
but
we're trying to figure that out, but I'm guessing it's like a warmer-esque state because they can
Yeah.
have a pool year-round.
yeah.
But
Well,
but
it
is
was
in the summer.
geothermally heated though.
Yeah.
So like,
oh, that's true.
the
Yeah, so
ground
they can have
heated
it.
this
That's
pool.
true. That's true. Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
the perfect pool.
Yeah, it must be the fall time too because they're going back to school.
Yes.
So yeah, it's definitely a nicer area, but also
Yeah.
yes, geothermically heated.
Yeah.
Wherever that was, but yeah, in Canada you'd have that issue because of course it's cold in many environments, right? So you would only be able to have an indoor pool, which most people wouldn't have.
I was scared of getting sucked
Yeah.
into like the little
I remember
intake.
I remember
things.
like being told don't touch that.
sounds-
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
sounds scary.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely a thing for small kids, especially for young kids. And they're, oh yeah, if you had toys in the pool or something, they get sucked into that, they're gone.
You're gone. You're
Yeah.
not getting that.
You're not getting that
You're
back.
gonna get your arm sucked onto that thing.
Don't go for that. So I can totally see where that's coming from. So
Yeah.
she has that, like, okay, maybe that is what I saw. Maybe I was panicking and maybe this happened. But in her
I don't
mind,
think she believes it though.
no, she knows that something was
Yeah.
going on. But I think there's like part of her that's in disbelief.
Yeah.
So she's willing to believe, oh yeah, it was probably just me freaking out.
Yeah.
But then her parents show up at home because they had gone out that night, and then so she has to. This poor kid has to kick him out. I was like, "Oh, I didn't tell my parents you were coming over. You have to leave."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, okay."
He never comes back.
Yeah.
Just like kisses her real quick and
Yeah.
leaves.
Grabs his clothes. There's some guy, there's some teenage kid in the middle of the night just running through the alley. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was yep.
But guess what it's time for
the
now?
third night swim.
It's time for a pool party.
The pool party.
Yeah,
Yep.
baby.
So
Day
dad,
swim number 3.
Dad's loving it. Dad's loving the pool. Everybody else has now had a situation where the pool has done something that makes
The
them
pool
really,
touched them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pool's made them uncomfortable. We'll say, and more.
Dad's out there like,
Dad loves it.
This is the greatest. Isn't this
Yeah.
the greatest thing that's ever happened to
Yeah.
our family? And everybody else is like,
No, this is the worst.
There's something in this.
Yeah, something's wrong with the pool, and he's like, no, this is like making me perfect.
Have you tried drinking it? Have you
Yeah.
tried snorting this water? And he's just like, He loves this.
He loves the pool, is what we're getting at. And he clearly demonstrates this when he suggests that everybody can have, or like the family will have like a pool party.
Mm-hmm.
With that, they can invite a bunch of people over and their neighbors, all this kind of stuff, get to know everybody. They even make a little sign that says like, hey, come to the Waller residence for a pool party. So they have all this stuff. And I think this is happening before this as well, is that the dad is taking his son to baseball practice, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
This is beforehand. And he does a really, really good hit. It demonstrates a good
Yeah, he's
hit
like
with his
coaching all of
baseball.
the kids.
Yeah, like he's doing like side coaching, right, with
Yeah.
this guy. And he's like, oh, you're a famous baseball player. Hey, please, do you want to hit? And he's like, oh, okay, sure. And he misses the first two.
And he
But then-
misses pretty badly, too.
Yeah, and he like falls down, like
Yeah.
he knocks himself off, but then he gets
But
back
on the
up.
third one,
Third
he
one.
starts...
The
he
pool talks to him.
Yes, he speaks to him.
Yeah.
You can see, like, they visualize with, like, ripples in the pool.
Yeah.
And he's just like, this guy's a water bender all the way.
Yeah.
This guy is...
And then he remembers himself being his pro baseball. It's the same thing the same vision he had like when he was drowning the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And then he like hits that ball.
Yeah, he crushes
Hard,
that.
like destroys that ball.
Yeah.
And he's like, I still got it.
Yeah.
Still got it. You're like, oh damn.
And he blows out one of the lights and
Yeah.
everything, and all the kids are like, "Oh yeah, that was the best."
Yeah, good hit. He's like, yeah.
And his son finally hit a baseball too, and his son's completely overshadowed by
Right.
this. Just ruins
Yeah.
this great memory for the kid. It's like, yeah, you might be okay, you might have hit one,
But
like,
I'm the best.
but I'm the best. You,
Yeah.
you don't forget this.
Yeah.
What's
So
his son's name?
the son's name is Elliot.
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 Yeah,
They
you
call him
remember
El.
this, Elliot? You're second.
You're second there. Yeah, actually, like we keep on calling them by like their designated roles in the family, but like I think
They
it's
really have just like simple last names.
El-
I can't remember everyone's
so
name.
Waller is their last name.
Yes, I remember that.
Well, you remember
his
the-
name's Ray.
Ray. So
I think.
Ray, and then Izzy is the
Yeah.
daughter's name, or Isabella and Izzy, and then Elliot. I'm
And then Mom.
forgetting Mom,
Just
who is
Mom.
actually the most important character in this.
Who's
in this
the main
Elle,
character?
Ellie, I think her name was, or something. Elle, I
Or you
think
just-
her name was.
okay, well.
Oh no, that's Elliot. Hold on. Shit, I don't remember. But in any
Okay.
case, yes, the main character of this movie is definitely the mom.
Is it?
Must be.
It's not clear.
The father is the driving force of the plot. She is the main character because she's the one that does everything. She's the one that finds out the truth. She's the
Yeah.
one that does the investigation. She's the one that cares about the family and makes sure everybody's okay. She's the one they all come to when they have issues.
If she was in an anime, she'd be giving friendship speeches.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
And with the permanent marker.
Yes,
right?
yeah. She would be writing
Yeah.
good notes.
Maybe her name is Taya. Any case, yes, this mother character is probably I would argue she's the main character.
Yes.
But anyway, they do their pool party. After all this kind of stuff, so they invited the baseball team, they
Yeah.
invited the school friends, the neighbors, all these people. Everybody's having a wonderful time. And then I think the son of the actual coach brings Ray, brings the father the baseball he knocked out to sign.
Yeah.
And so he notices it, and he has this like it looks like he has this surreal thing about like, oh, I remember my glory days. And then in the pool they're playing what's that game called? Chicken.
Yeah.
When they have this on the shoulders. So he's like,
Oh.
I guess he gets a bunch of this confidence, this macho-ness or something. He's like,
Yeah.
we can take them. I can beat
Well, the
him.
best part is like the
Yeah.
guy they decide to challenge is like
This massive guy.
huge guy. I don't know
Where
they
did it
found
come
this
from? I
actor.
know.
He's just like he's got like clearly like just yoked out of his
Massive.
tree. He's just this huge
Oh.
bald guy who's like red as a tomato, who's just like playing chicken, destroying all the children.
with like he's like this kid on his shoulders just playing chicken.
And then like the
But his
dad
legs
with
like super
MS is
secure.
like, we can take him. I have my pool powers.
And-
Aquaman.
Right. And this is the thing, is like, so in that game, I think that guy you mentioned, that massive guy, I think is supposed to be with his son.
Right.
And I think, so Elliot's actually filming at the time. He has a camera of his dad's, and he's filming the pool because he doesn't trust it.
Oh yeah, this guy's gone full rear window
Yeah,
at this
the
point.
boy
kid.
the boy doesn't even go outside. The mother doesn't want to go into the pool, and the daughter doesn't want to go to the pool.
Yeah.
And she states
The
it
son's
with her
filming
friends.
it to make sure it's something. Knows
Yeah.
something's up in
Yes.
the pool.
So he's upstairs and he's filming everything, so he's not even there. But then the father decides we can take him because he suddenly gets this rush of like I need to do this, right? Because
Yeah.
he sees the baseball.
So he finds a proxy son.
So good.
A better son.
who happens to be the coach's actual son. And so he takes him, and so they do this kind of thing. So they're fighting, or mock fighting with the chicken dance, so the chicken fighting, I should say. And they win, but then the father has this weird, like, what would you call it? Some dream state?
I think he was like obsessed. like
Well,
whatever.
oh,
but
sure,
this is also
possessed
the part
by
where
it,
something
right? Yeah.
rushes into him.
Yeah.
This is the part
Oh,
where the
that's
dirty
right,
water
yes.
comes out, and the water, like, the dirty water invades
Yes.
his, like...
Controlled him.
Yes.
then.
That's right. So and then he gets in there, and then he starts grabbing onto the kid,
Mhm.
and I guess he's gonna kill the kid for the situation that we'll talk about afterwards. But he starts like backing into the deep end,
Yeah.
holding on to this kid, and he himself, I guess, is no longer breathing because he's still human,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but he's just still doing it because the creature is possessing him, right? Goes under there, and then they have to rescue. And then the boy sees it on the camera, and then he calls out to his mom. They all rescue them.
Yeah.
And they purport it to be, he was having the father was having an episode with his MS.
Yeah.
Which is believable enough
Yeah.
that there's no reason to press charges, so to speak, with all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But then they still saw bruises on the boy's leg because he was
Yeah.
grabbing on so hard.
And, like, everybody,
Yeah.
like, kind of immediately ostracizes the family.
Yeah,
So
so
they're
like,
like,
he's
I've
gonna
had
do
enough
this.
of you.
Yeah, like right off the bat. And,
We've had enough of you and your pool.
yeah. So this is now we're back to even day swim, night swim. And during this time as well, we don't want to forget. So the mother is inside, she's hosting.
Yeah.
And she has the realtor, because I guess they're friends now. The realtor has come over with her husband, I guess, and they've come over and they're talking about the instances of the pool. And what's her face, the mother, has asked her a question about.
Just
who
call
is-
it mom.
Which is okay. Mom has said, "What is the deal with this pool?" And the realtor, like, Jesus, like the acting of this, she clearly looked shifty. Like, I don't know anything. Why would you ask me that? Like, whatever.
Maybe 17 people
Yeah.
died in this pool.
I may have found
Who's
out
to
this, but I
say?
didn't want to tell you. So like, okay, whatever. So anyway, she finds out, but then the boy had even heard, because remember the boy was talking to the entity or whatever. The entity had said that the name, was it Catherine?
Rebecca.
Or Rebecca, sorry, Rebecca.
Rebecca
And-
Summers.
Summers. And Rebecca was the name. So then the mother says to the realtor, was this girl's name Rebecca? And she says, how do you know that? And that's when the mother realizes there's definitely something wrong with this pool.
Yes.
Because how would the boy know that and all this other stuff?
So she goes to find Rebecca Summers' mother.
Yeah.
And I want to get Fiona's take on this, because this is the weirdest trope ever used for, like, the plot that they gave. What did you make of the woman, of Rebecca's mom?
Yeah, where is she? What's she doing?
Well, she was like on the treatment, like about her, like I think she was doing the oxygen thing.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and she would just look so happy and just, hey, welcome, right? Just come in and I'll look at, this is my son and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Just my son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when she was asked about her daughter, she even denied like a couple of times, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
It was
have
just
a
me and my
daughter,
son,
just
yeah.
my son.
Yeah.
And but clearly, like, she felt guilty because every time when she mentioned her daughter, she was like choking or like coughing so badly.
Or her breathing
so
was
she
worse
definitely
or
felt
something,
something.
right?
Yeah. And then she finally said like, about the daughter thing, and because the daughter had been brought up, I think her situation was worse, and you can tell like all the water seems like connected,
Yeah.
and the water started to like shake and changing
Seems
the
like
colors.
it's part of the same well system or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and she just finally just doesn't pretend anymore. It's just like being her true face and just telling her about the pool, like, oh, if it's giving you something has to be taken as well.
Yeah.
And like all those black water started to came out of her
A life for a
eyes
life
or something.
type of thing, yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, because like she gives us like a lot of the origin story of the pool, where they're like, oh, we don't really know where it came from. It used to be
Yeah.
kind of this pond.
Or
And-
yeah, right. Like she kind of just knows this, but I'm guessing that's
Yeah.
because she was possessed by the pool. I would
Yeah.
assume the father would know this as well.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because it feels like the pool is giving its own backstory. It's like,
Right.
as the pool, no one really knows where I came from, but I
But I
was
can
kind
tell
of
you
always
this.
there.
Yeah,
I
I
used
was
to be a
here,
pond.
yeah.
Now I'm a pool.
Yeah.
My water was this, and now I did this. And when you use me, I can grant you wishes, but I need to take something from you. It's usually a life
Or a cat.
or a
Yeah,
cat
and
or both.
I was very surprised because at the beginning I thought when she mentioned like, oh, I'm coming here to ask you about your previous house with a pool, I was thinking about she was going to be like close the door or refuse to talk about it or anything.
Yeah.
But turns out she's just like very happy to share. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Because
the
she's super
pool.
proud. She's super proud of
Yeah.
her son. Right?
Oh,
She's super
yeah.
proud of her son. She wants to show off her son, who's
Yeah.
now like a senator or something.
Yeah.
Because her son survived. Because so the whole story with this, right, is that her son was dying. She was suffering something, but her son was dying,
Yeah.
and her daughter was healthy enough, but she was so distraught with her son dying that because she had gone swimming, probably for a night swim, and the pool had
Probably a day swim. Let's be realistic.
whatever time it was. We just don't know with this one. We could chalk this up to like an even one because she probably had many
This
swims.
is an afternoon swim.
Yeah, an afternoon swim of sorts, or maybe an evening swim. Whatever the case, she was in the pool. It had possessed her and her mindset and controlled her to the time to say like, okay, I can help you. I can save your son, but I have to take something, and this meant taking her daughter, who is of course the girl at the beginning. And this flashback, and I will say the points for creepiness, absolutely. Having her son wakes up, sees that his sister is in danger, tries to help her.
Mm-hmm.
She locks the door on her son to prevent him from helping his sister, her daughter, and she stares out the window as she drowns.
Yeah. She just like watches Rebecca.
Watches
drown.
it happen, and you see the black water tear come
Yeah.
down, and all this kind of stuff. Like whether or not that's sadness or that's just the control. That's what you see when you see the control from the pool. But
And you can tell like her health, even though like she's really happy that her son has succeeded and stuff. Like
she suffers.
She's got those medical unwellness.
Yeah, the
'cause
breathing
she's-
thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's got her oxygen on that
Yeah.
she keeps turning on.
Yeah.
And she's got a little water fountain, and the water that she keeps drinking, it's just you're not quite sure if like
it's tainted, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I couldn't quite tell. It's like, is this pool water that has escaped as a person,
Following
and it's
her?
just like, is this a blob of the pool that's just gone out somewhere? Because we're made of water, so you could definitely do a little water.
I was thinking
vessel.
that maybe this entity thing or whatever it is like it's always latched on to the people through water.
Yeah.
So no matter what water you drink, where you go, it's always going to be connected to you because of, like you just said, we're water.
Right.
So this is how that works. Maybe
It is unclear how the entity and the pool work.
it is. I think
Don't get in the
that's-
pool is the best way to avoid it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get smothered with this pool, or don't drink that water, or whatever it is that
Or stay on the
happens.
shallow end.
Right. So when she realizes this, the mother obviously recognizes that something is obviously amiss and horrifying. So she's driven up quite a ways to get to this woman, and so she goes back. And meanwhile, her kids have just returned from somewhere, and her husband has now become fully possessed. Fully possessed. But it's not in the possession of he wants to kill his family.
No.
Like what I think we all thought, kind of in a way that we all
He
thought
wants
was
the
doing this.
son to get in the pool.
He wants the son or one of them to be taken away.
I think he specifies though that it's his son.
Yeah.
That it's
He's
okay.
he's the weak one.
He's like
yeah.
the one that the pool chose.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So he's doing this. So he's trying to keep his daughter, and he's, like I said, fully controlled. He looks very much like what the woman looked like at the end, with like the black tears and all this stuff. He's clearly possessed now. He's preventing his daughter from going to call 911 or helping the son out in the back because he's now fallen into the pool.
Yeah. Because he heard the cat.
Because he heard the cat, and so he's looking for cider. And the mother gets back in time, pulls him out, does all this stuff, and then he comes out to attack them. And the kid falls into the pool, and she dives into it. And so this is where it starts to get really jumbled around, right?
The longest breath hold of all time.
All time. But to be fair, they do have this idea of like using the hose.
Yeah,
and
the pipe. Yeah.
I'm just like this,
Breathing
but
a
I'm
little
like,
bit, yeah.
but she like ties it off. She does like a single overhand knot, ties it
Yeah.
off to a pipe,
That
and
cuts
then
off
like
the
uses
air.
it to breathe at the very bottom.
Yeah,
I'm just
like-
like, and does like basically. I mean, here's
Don't
the
do that.
here's the only thing I could say that it's just like, okay, it bends time and space, and technically she could have only been under there for like 2 seconds,
Right.
or however you want this pool math to work.
But her body wouldn't realize that, right?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
So-
So, any case, yeah, she gets dragged to the. Sorry, she swims to the bottom looking for her son because she goes through that dimensional thing,
Yeah.
and she finds him. She brings him out, and this is like a freaky part.
Yeah.
I think we can all
I
admit
love
this is a
that
freaky
part.
part. Yeah, you like this? So all the souls of the people, or whatever you want to call them, all the missing people, come out, and they're I guess bad now. They're trying to kill her.
Yeah.
They're-
Except for
They're all
Rebecca.
trying to drag her down, except for the little girl from the beginning, Rebecca. Why does she care?
Oh, I feel so bad for the girl because
Yeah.
at the beginning the girl shows up again in the movie. She was asking for help. I was thinking like oh, in order to help this girl, so they would develop more and more about the secret of the pool or anything.
Right.
And turns out no, nobody cares about her. Her mother.
No,
like,
she's long
like,
gone.
Denied her
Yeah.
like
20
no.
years.
Her and her cute little bunny slippers
Yeah,
in the
they're
beginning.
gone, yeah.
Yeah, she's
No,
doomed.
she just with that little coin, I guess she had found or whatever, and she like
Yeah.
realizes like, no, you're swimming down, you want to swim up
Yeah.
because of like the gravity or whatever. So she's like, oh, thanks, and she swims up, and yeah, Rebecca doesn't hold her back, and there's other like swimming monsters going after them or whatever you want to call them. But they get up, they get out of the pool, and Elliot is like kind of dead, but he's not dead. Like his eyes are open, but he's not breathing. So they try and bring him back, and they do. And then that's when the dad comes back, and then the daughter has his bat, his prize-winning bat.
She beats the crap out of
beats
Dad
him,
with this
like,
baseball bat.
hits his leg, hits his
Yeah,
side.
the thing is, she never goes for the head. She goes for like knee and then stomach and ribs.
And he falls.
Oh yeah, he falls.
He gets
like,
hurt.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like he regurgitates a lot of this water, so maybe he's kind of like back. He's like, oh, what was I doing? All this stuff. So there's some kind of chemical portion of this too. It's not just magic.
Yeah, but that was easy though. That was way
It was
too
pretty easy.
for him
The
to
water
make.
just
Barely
comes out. The
an
dirty water comes out.
inconvenience.
It's like, wash it again.
Yeah. Basically.
My weakness, baseball bats.
Oh, I'm puking it out. Oh no. So he realizes what's going on because obviously he's possessed. So just like Rebecca's mother, who knew the history of the pool, this guy also realizes what needs to happen. He's like, no, there needs to be a sacrifice. So the dad sacrifices himself in the end to save his son and his family from doing this. And they don't seem too beat up about it.
No, they really don't.
But
they're pretty okay with Dad's death.
I'm gonna say this is like a couple of weeks later that maybe they've had some time to grieve. But then they finish off the movie by saying like, listen, we gotta fill in this pool.
That'll solve it.
Well, no more water, I suppose. So,
but we had a discussion about water and wastewater and the piping that this all goes through, because their house has got water fed into it through this spring, and they sort of imply that it's coming up through the sinks a lot of the time too. Like when Elliot drinks the water and stuff, I'm like, the water that's all around this seems to be sort of like connected to this underground spring.
So I think that's exactly what they're trying to invoke with that, is that they're saying like the water is connected to the water in the pool.
Right.
So if the water in the pool is no longer there, then the water is essentially untainted by the entity that possesses the pool water.
But do we really think filling in the pool is going to solve the problem?
If they make Night Swim 2 or Night Swim, Time for a Day Swim, I don't think that's going to happen.
Or Midnight Swim.
Midnight Swim is pretty good.
That's
actually not a bad name.
That'd
be better than Night Swim. But then we'd have to be specifically midnight for a swim, right? Oh, by the way, this actually does finish off with a night swim. So that actually puts them above.
Are we at a 4-to-3 ratio?
We're at a 4-to-3 ratio
it's
for
an
night
appropriate
swims.
title now.
They're correct. And then they fill it in during the day, but but that's exactly it, yeah. So unless I'm miscounting for one of the sessions.
They're in that pool a lot during the day. I still think our day count is. We need to rewatch it again and do a day-night swim.
There are a couple of times I think when they're doing like not a montage, but there's like little scenes where the dad is coming out of the pool and it's clearly daytime.
Yeah.
But you never actually see it swimming.
I think Dad's in there just enjoying it during the day. Maybe that's
there
why
was one
he was
scene
winning
where he's
so
like lying
much.
there. He's lying in the pool at one point, just lying in the water. So
he's lying in that pool like a cartoon character, like spitting water off him like a plume, and just like it's glorious.
I love this pool. So yeah, this movie finishes on that note. So I guess they kind of put an end to the whole curse thing because they fill it up if that indeed works. But then also the sacrifice was the person who was going to be sacrificing somebody. So it kind of like has a loop finishing up, right?
But it's like, didn't anybody wonder where Dad was? And then this family is just burying this pool.
The pool?
I'm like,
I'm
did
sure
this family totally killed their dad and
Yeah.
buried him? Because
I'm sure there's a lot of questions.
From like a legal standpoint, I'm like,
and he's not even that, and he's actually a well-known guy.
yeah, he's famous.
He's famous.
And this family just bought this house. Probably there's a lot of life insurance out on him. No body. No body. It's just gone.
That asshole totally just screwed his family. This movie is not very good.
Well, they're gonna have to excavate the pool to see if there's a body in there.
Maybe he went to his mom's house, and then maybe that's something else. Who knows? Maybe he died of his MS, and they just didn't want to have like a.
What did they do? Burn him?
I guess the cremate. Maybe I don't know. I think we're thinking
He
a
got
little too
sucked
far.
into the pool vent. He's gone.
We're thinking a little too far. He loved this pool. We buried him with the pool.
There you go.
There you go. It's done.
His tombstone is the diving board.
They stick it out. Write his name, carve his name into it. So
Ray loved his pools, loved his night swim.
for only 3 weeks, then he went swimming. Oh,
I think he liked swimming more than he liked baseball. He found a new passion.
in the end, the lesson is give up what you do, go swimming.
Yeah.
Find a magical pool.
Ditch what you love for something you love more.
That's the message of this movie. But overall, I think this movie is So we all agreed when we had seen this together that this movie was probably not going to be very good. But we went in with low expectations. We came out okay with the film.
I thought it was better than I expected it to be.
Yes, that's
And
exactly
if you
the
want,
case, yeah.
if you want an entertaining hour and a half, it's a quick watch.
It's something that
It's
it is.
funny.
Actually, I will give it credit. It's not that long,
It's not that bad.
and it's not that
just
bad.
like, it
Acting is
doesn't-
fine. It's a little weird.
We're still
yeah.
and see if you can figure out what was in that pool. You know,
Yeah.
that's a mystery you can solve for yourself. What was in that?
If
pool?
they left enough breadcrumbs and I didn't see them, I good luck. Absolutely good luck. But we'll see.
Maybe it's Aquaman.
He's controlling the thing.
Yeah, he's just screwing with you. He's fed up with saving the world. Now he's fucking with someone's pool. Here's a coin, Elliot.
Drown, kid, drown. And he's been doing this for like eons,
Yeah.
for thousands and thousands of years. But no, overall, I think this movie, creepy scenes, but scary.
Not a scary
Not
one.
at all. Not at
Well,
all.
you know, there's some
There are
jump
jump
scares.
things,
There's some jump scares in there.
Underwater for sure.
Yeah.
Because like you
Great
can't control
underwater
that.
shots.
Yeah.
Like, there's some good things in it.
Yeah.
There's a lot more bad things.
There's just a lot of questions that never get answered or developed, and they definitely needed that for a
I don't
cohesive story.
think that we'll get the lore of Night Swim.
No,
Expand
but I mean, like,
the
but they needed like questions answered just for the basic premise of the show.
Yeah, like what is
Yeah.
like what are the parameters of the pool?
Right.
Yeah.
How does this work? Why are they like this in the first place? Why is it like this in the first place? And if this has been happening for so long, why hasn't there been like conversations about it with everything, right?
Mhm.
But any case, what are your thoughts on this movie?
Same. I think it's watchable, but I could have done better.
What do you rate this movie out of 10?
5.
5, like
5,
watchable, one
yeah,
time watch and you're good. Me
yeah.
too.
Yeah,
I might watch it
wouldn't
again
get-
for fun.
I would watch it again because it's like
So
it's
silly,
fun.
but
like I think it does what it intended to do. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it knocks it out of the park like Ray would, but it's
Nice.
like, but I think it's like it's fun enough
yeah.
that you're like, yeah, this is definitely worth my time.
Okay.
I'm fine with this. Like if I'm tired,
Yeah.
I'll watch this.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I mean, is it worth $15 to $20 in the cinema? Probably not.
No.
But to watch it with your friends and just have some drinks and
I think it's okay
enjoy
to
it.
be in the cinema.
I think it
It's
was
not
worth
bad.
the $15 admission because holy hell, everything's expensive now.
That's true. Yeah.
The $10 beer I ordered, I was a little upset about though.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money on that movie,
Yeah.
but the beer was worth that time too. I think.
Yeah.
That was fun. But yeah, no, I would say 5 out of 10.
Check it out. Probably don't
Yeah.
need to watch it at the theater. I would
Yeah,
say
find it online, find it with your friends,
this is a good one to maybe steal.
or stream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the legal stealing.
Yeah.
Yeah, find it elsewhere. It's fun.
Yeah. But I would say like for me it's like 5 out of 10 as well.
Yeah, it's a
Five.
solid 5.
It gets 5s across the board.
There you go.
And
So, watch it. Not a lot of hopes up. Just watch it, have fun with it, and be silly with it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching again with the podcast. As always, I'm Oliver, Anthony, and Fiona. And you have nothing to fear but fear itself. And the pool.
And a pool, apparently.
Yeah, night swims. Gotta fear them night swims.
Fear those night swims. There's only one thing to fear in the world: night swims
And day swims.
and day swims.
And drinking water.